We're in the month of May, a time when our children take center stage. This year, the spotlight is on standing against abuse and exploitation, and the message is clear. It's everyone's duty to protect our children. We're also shedding light on lupus, a chronic autoimmune disease, sharing real stories and insights into life with the condition. Today's show is all about protection, resilience, and hope. From safeguarding the vulnerable to building legacies and learning how to thrive, even in uncertain times. All wrapped up in a bold purple ribbon of awareness. Stay with us. We'll be right back after the news.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Friday, May 9, 2025. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, is praising the government for its management of the economy following meetings held from April 30 to May 7 this year. Among the commendations are the country's successful efforts at reducing public debt, maintaining targeted inflation between 4 and 6%, low unemployment rate of 3.7%, net reserve of $5.8 million, and strengthening its external position. The IMF also highlights the government's enviable track record of investing in institutions and prioritizing macroeconomic stability. In its assessment of recent global shocks and natural disasters, the IMF says Jamaica has responded in a manner that is agile, prudent, and supportive of growth. It says economic activity is projected to normalize as the recovery process of Hurricane Beryl and Tropical Storm Raphael wane. Looking ahead, the projection is that growth will settle at its potential rate once recovery for the 2025-2026 financial year is complete. Meanwhile, the IMF has recommended that the country carefully manage its wage bill to avoid crowding out other fiscal priorities and focus on measures to improve public spending. The IMF also suggests that Jamaica's fiscal responsibility law, which sets rules for government borrowing and spending, could be improved by introducing a clear operational debt anchor set below the existing debt limit. In concluding, it says the authorities are addressing supply-side constraints that inhibit growth by increasing investments in policing and security, evidenced by sustained reduction in major crimes. In addition, measures are in place for unemployment insurance, improved employment services, and green energy incentives are also underway. Finally, the IMF says a comprehensive statistical improvement plan is being developed to support evidence-based policymaking. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness is reassuring stakeholders in the education sector that the Jamaica Teaching Council bill is not designed to disenfranchise teachers. Dr. Holness says the objective is to bring greater structure and organization to the teaching profession in the same way that governance frameworks exist for other professions such as law and medicine.
We are not proposing anything that is out of the ordinary. And the truth is, I've heard this argument that this is going to cause a lot of teachers to leave the jurisdiction. And I did some research and I found out that most, if not all, the jurisdictions that our teachers would end up in have some form and even stronger regulations for professional requirements for teachers.
The Prime Minister says he has heard the concerns and encourages continued dialogue that will bring solutions to the perspectives of all stakeholders.
I want to assure every teacher, every aspiring educator, and every stakeholder in the education sector that this is a process based on partnership, not punishment. Let me assure everyone that the government I lead is a listening government, and to the extent that these are concerns, there are concerns about aspects of the bill, we are willing to listen and engage in meaningful dialogue to resolve these concerns.
Dr. Holness was at a Teachers' Day engagement at the Michael University College on Wednesday. He asserts that by establishing clear standards, the government aims to elevate the status of educators while creating an environment where excellence in teaching can thrive. The Plattfield to Brainerd Farm Road in St. Mary is the latest benefit from the government's ongoing Farm Road Rehabilitation program aimed at strengthening agricultural productivity. The newly upgraded 500-meter stretch was officially opened on Wednesday by Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, Floyd Green. The project cost just over $14 million and is expected to significantly improve access for more than 1,600 farmers and vendors in the area. Minister Green describes the project as a direct investment in the nation's farmers and a key step toward enhancing Jamaica's food security.
And one way of treating with our food security is to ensure that you have access to the area of production. So I want the farmers to see this as an investment in them.
Minister Green also pledged to complete the next phase of the road within the current financial year, highlighting that since 2023, $127 million have been spent to rehabilitate 11 farm roads in St. Mary. Acting Chief Executive Officer of the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA, Garnet Edmondson, reaffirmed the agency's commitment to supporting farm road development as part of its core mandate.
RADA stands committed to ensuring that in this new financial year that we're in, we'll be pushing in a very serious way to ensure that farm roads are completed on time, completed with the quality that it is known for.
In other news, the Social Development Commission, SDC, will play a critical role in the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development's plans for the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season. That's the word from Portfolio Minister Desmond McKenzie, who says the SDC will be utilizing its community focus to help citizens. The hurricane season runs from June 1 to November 30.
And the possibility of an active hurricane season is imminent. And there's a role for the SDC to play. And I'll be inviting the team to a meeting to have further discussions on it, because community profiles go a far way in helping how we put the necessary things in place as we prepare for the hurricane season.
Minister McKenzie gave the update at the ministry's National Staff Summit earlier this week under the theme Reset, Rebuild. The minister adds that preparations are in high gear for the upcoming hurricane season.
I had a meeting with the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, and the disaster coordinators looking at the upcoming hurricane season and what that prospects hold for us here in Jamaica.
And finally, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness is expressing gratitude to mothers across Jamaica for their strength and the pivotal role they play in instilling values and attitudes in their children, shaping both their character and the nation's future.
Mothers are our first teachers, shaping the moral compass of our children, and by extension, the soul of the society. The Greek philosopher Aristotle once wrote, "Give me a child until he is 7, and I will show you the man." And it is in these formative years that the hands of mothers mold the values, thoughts, and inner life of future generations.
The Prime Minister says Jamaican mothers are most times the primary caregivers, consistently guiding their children through the formative years.
So in every sense, it is the mothers who are truly shaping the character of the nation in the formative years. So then, by this construct, the mothers are the ones who really have the power in shaping the character of the nation. And indeed, to cultivate the conscience of the nation.
He was addressing a special Mother's Day event at Jamaica House on Thursday. The event honored mothers who are staff members of the Office of the Prime Minister, Jamaica House, and the Office of the Cabinet. Mother's Day 2025 will be observed on Sunday, May 11. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for staying with us. Chronic illnesses that aren't spread from person to person are called non-communicable diseases, or NCDs. These long-term conditions often stem from genetic, environmental, and lifestyle factors. In our next feature, we'll explore simple changes we can make to lower our risk.
As non-communicable diseases, NCDs, like cardiovascular conditions, diabetes, cancer, and chronic respiratory illnesses continue to rise, adopting healthier lifestyle choices has never been more important. These diseases are often linked to lifestyle factors such as diet, physical activity, and mental well-being. Non-communicable disease coordinator for the Western Regional Health Authority, Dr. Marcia Johnson, helps us to understand the practical ways of reducing the risk of getting NCDs. As she explains, there are 4 core habits that can help individuals reduce the risk of NCDs: maintaining a balanced diet, engaging in regular physical activity, limiting alcohol consumption, and quitting smoking.
Physical activity and regular exercise in particular is very important in reducing our risk for non-communicable disease. It strengthens the heart, it helps to control blood sugar and lowers blood pressure. It has great benefits for managing your weight, and obesity is also a very strong risk factor for some of these diseases. And so we encourage persons to engage in physical activity. Start small, but be consistent. In addition, rest, very, very important. Being able to manage stress, also very important, and having good relationships with others.
When it comes to diet, there are some basic things to keep in mind.
Reduce salt, reduce sugar, reduce fats. Increase fruits and vegetables, increase your fiber, and watch the portion sizes, because sometimes even when you are eating what seems to be the healthy things, you are consuming too much of one thing at one time. So we have to also watch the portion sizes. Drink lots of water, and I think if we lean more towards a plant-based diet, having our whole grains, our peas and legumes, then we are on the better road for good nutrition.
Mental health is often overlooked when discussing physical health, but one cannot be achieved without the other.
And we are seeing mental health issues emerge more and more each day. It happens with our patients, the healthcare providers, the family caregivers. It affects everybody. And so in order to manage stress, some of the things that we can do is learning how to prioritize learning how to be more organized for efficiency, staying connected with loved ones, taking breaks when you need. We have to get sufficient rest. Some people do deep breathing exercises that is helpful in just calming you in the moment when the stress is on and the crisis comes. Just take deep breaths. Prayer works, or meditation for some persons. That is also very useful. But the truth is, we have to learn how to balance. And one of the hardest things is to be able to say no. We have to learn how to say no and when to say no, because there are some things that just have to be put aside in order for us to cope with what is happening. And guess what? If you're feeling overwhelmed, if you find that you are not managing, it's okay to ask for help.
Another key aspect of managing health is regular screenings.
The Ministry of Health has launched this Know Your Number campaign, and it continues to bear fruit. We want persons to at least know your blood pressure status, your blood sugar, your body mass index, or we call BMI, which is the ratio of your weight to your height. And we also want you to do your blood cholesterol checks. But in addition, we want women to ensure that they have a pap smear done, they have a breast examination and or mammogram done, and for our men to do their prostate check.
By staying on top of these basic screenings, individuals can catch potential health issues early and to take proactive steps toward prevention.
We have to start out by setting realistic goals. Setting realistic goals, finding a way to track the progress. We have to find a support system. We can't do this thing alone. So whether it is a colleague, a family member, or just a friend, get somebody else to be along with you. Aim for progress and not perfection. And listen, if you fail or if you fall down, don't stay down. Start again. Non-communicable disease is a real thing, and we're seeing it happening in younger persons. We're seeing cancers occurring in younger persons. But the way to reduce our risk is by engaging primarily in 4 healthy habits: eating healthy, increasing our physical activity, avoiding alcohol, and quit smoking. And in addition, the rest, relaxation, recreation, and prayer will help us along the way.
Adopting healthier habits is not just about preventing illness, it's about creating a sustainable, fulfilling life.
Let's delve into the story of a woman who was diagnosed with lupus and discover how she's navigating life while managing the disease.
I was diagnosed with lupus in 2008, but from my own knowledge of what is happening, I must have had lupus all my life, as it were, because I've always been having symptoms. But the challenge that I had was that I was always misdiagnosed. And so that is the focus of my, the challenges in terms of, the doctors would think that I have something else and not lupus, but you'd have different symptoms. But I have systemic lupus, and lupus is not only systemic, but some persons just have what we call discord lupus or other little types, joint pains, and so on. But I have the full works. Well, I was extremely disappointed because I felt, oh my God, I have lived a good life. I have always been careful about what I eat. I've always been sure to exercise. I've used to be nice and slim and beautiful. And to hear that now I have this condition, I I did not want to believe. And then it got worse after the diagnosis. You know, I had periods where I couldn't work at all. There was a 4-year period in my life that I never worked. I just couldn't work. I was just always sick. I was always in hospital. Sometimes I'm in intensive care, sometimes I am unconscious, sometimes I'm all kinds of things. So it has not been a very wonderful ride. In 2014, I became, my kidneys stopped working. So I was now in renal failure. And it means that I now have to go to dialysis. So there were days when I would just be so weak. My blood count, that's HB, would fall to a very low level. I had to get blood. I had to look at what I eat. I had to look at how much I do. I had no energy most times. I couldn't do anything. I just had to lie down in my bed. So just different things. You couldn't walk sometimes. Sometimes I can't talk clearly. Sometimes I can't see. Sometimes my hands are so sore and I can't use them. Sometimes just different things. My lungs would fail. Different things would happen. So I've been through the ropes. Mentally, it was devastating because I feel that that's not supposed to happen to me. So I went through that period. I actually went through a period of severe depression. I was just so depressed. I could not help myself. There were days I just cry and cry and cry. And part of that too is the medication that I take. Some of the steroids make you depressed. And then you look into the mirror and you look at yourself and say, who is this? I don't know you. Can I tell you, I have learned to love life and to live. And that is what is important to me. Each day counts. And I believe that I should live each day to the fullest. With lupus, there is this uncertainty. I don't know when I will be unconscious again. I don't know when I will die. But I am going to maintain the quality of life, and I'm going to have a good life, and I'm going to live. I have good family support. My husband is extremely supportive, my son. So I have them. And I have good friends. Good friends, the saying goes, good friends are better than pocket money. Then there's also the Lupus Foundation, which is important. There is a support group there. There are excellent rheumatologists there who will provide advice and help and care and just information. There's a whole host of books and tapes and all kinds of things that you can get information from. There is also the website that you can look at and get information as well. I've actually gone for job interviews and I know I don't get a job not because I'm not qualified, but because I have lupus. So employers need to understand that people living with lupus can actually contribute and, make adjustments. There are days, for example, after dialysis that I will come to work a little bit late, but I will work later to make sure that the time is there. I have learned that. It has no boundaries, it has no behavior, it has no conscience, it has no purpose, it has no time. It does what it chooses to do whenever. And therefore you need to be aware of yourself and what are some of the things that are your triggers, and therefore try to manage and monitor those. You must also be mindful of the medication that you have to take and take them carefully and take them well. You should also be mindful of your appointments with your doctors and make sure that you keep those appointments. I would say to you, help is available. Find some help, find some support. Talking about it helps. Don't feel that it is because you're special or you're being punished why you have lupus, but recognize that this is just another thing that could happen to anybody, color, class, or creed, rich or poor, man or woman. There are more women with lupus than men, but men have lupus as well. And so be aware of the symptoms, get help, get treatment. Don't hide away, don't think that people obey you, because Jamaica is famous for that. But know that this is a condition that can be controlled. It cannot be cured. It can be controlled, and you can maintain a healthy life. Seek to work, seek to be involved, do what you're doing, treat whatever is happening. If it's depression, get it treated, get treatment, get help. Help is available.
To learn more about lupus, contact the Lupus Foundation of Jamaica via their website lupusfoundationjamaica.org or 754-8458. You may also visit them at 7 Barbados Avenue, Kingston 5.
Social media is fun,
but it can also be unsafe.
To ensure our safety, we need to be smart. That's right. The first thing to know is that being on social media carries certain risks. So, being a smarty pants on these platforms will work in your favor.
Here are a few tips to keep in mind. Be careful about what you share. Know your audience by limiting who can see your posts. If something seems too good to be true, it probably is. Meeting people online can be exciting, but always stay cautious. Beware of catfishing.
To learn more about how to stay safe online, visit the Office of the Children's Advocate at www.welcome.oca.gov.jm.
Teachers, parents, and children alike,
stay smart, stay safe.
Protecting our children goes beyond the physical world. It extends into the digital space. That's the urgent message from the Center for Investigation of Sexual Offences and Child Abuse, CISOCA, highlighting the dangers lurking online. If you're a parent or guardian, even of teenagers, this is a message you need to hear. There are perpetrators actively looking for opportunities to exploit others, with many targeting individuals for sexual exploitation.
When a person posts a video or posts videos about their lives, there's someone looking on to look at physical features that may appeal to them. You know, they understand how they operate and where to target. And so the more they post, the more they share, they're opening up themselves and their lives to perpetrators out there.
Who is most at risk of being targeted online?
Boys are under threat less based on the reports that we are getting. The reports indicate that more females are being pursued by these perpetrators more than boys. The actual monitoring and utilizing the instrument for parental control is good for all ages once they are children. That will help us preventing some of the perpetrators from getting to them.
On that note, stay informed, stay involved, and keep your children safe online. We've come to the end of our program. For a full recap and more, visit our website at jis.gov.jm. I'm Audrey Williams. Take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.